2, 1. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sports live watch along of the Formula One Monaco Grand Prix. This is probably the biggest race of the calendar season, as well with the fact that it's been 2 years since Formula One was last in Monte Carlo because of course COVID-19. It's mad to think that now us history boys can actually tell our kids one day, sadly Monaco is not the race anymore that it has been on every single season. So that is an absolute real shame. Thanks for joining us, folks. I've also got my good friend Dominic Ryder here. He's got other commitments as well later today, as you can see with his Aston Villa shirt.
No! You had to do it.
I had to do it. But Dom, how are you feeling about this one? I know our leaderboard before the stream started has changed because Charles Leclerc apparently will not start the race at all.
Yeah, and of course the fact that he had his little accident in qualifying meant that it probably ruined quite a few other drivers qualifying, particularly Hamilton, of course, who is now going to start 6th rather than 7th because Leclerc's gone on. But yeah, it's one of those. Monaco's obviously one of those tracks where overtaking can at times be nigh on impossible. So you need to have a really good start and you need to be absolutely on it in terms of your pit stops. So the points where drivers are going to be pitting is going to be absolutely crucial, and that's going to be the really key areas to watch. I mean, I'm gutted because I'm a Danny Ricciardo fanboy and I'm gutted that he's not doing great in McLaren seat this year and only qualified 12th on the grid. 11th now technically, but the fact he's won obviously at Monaco before, so I'm hoping he does slightly better in the race today and we'll try and get a few points. But I think if you qualify on pole, you're already 3/4 of the way there to winning the race. So it's Verstappen's to lose, I think, really. Yeah,
I think he's got to win though, hasn't he, Dom? Because I've started to look at this season as a Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen kind of football score. It comes down to how many race wins. So it's 3-1, I think, at the moment to Lewis Hamilton. And if that gap gets bigger away from Verstappen, that is really where you're not going to catch him, because Hamilton's been in this position so many times, and that's why he's won 7 world championships.
Yeah, and the fact as well that we're 4 races in and already we're thinking it's not going to be Bottas.
No.
I think that says a lot, doesn't it? But yeah, no, I think it's looking like it's going to probably be a 2-horse race between those two. But if Verstappen got a win today, yeah, that would be huge in clawing back the kind of points over Hamilton. Because yeah, even though Hamilton's got 3 wins and Verstappen's only got 1, they're not actually hugely far away in terms of points difference. So it is still quite a tight race. And Verstappen as well is probably thinking that if Hamilton retires in the next few years, and this is potentially one of his best chances to beat Hamilton to a championship, because I don't think Verstappen will just want to win a championship, because he will do that at some point. I'm almost certain he's going to win the title, but he'll want to as well say, I won a championship beating the greatest driver of all time. I think he
like Nico Rosberg's got, whether people like it or not, he's done it. The history books will tell you he did it in the same team as well, which I do think people should applaud a bit more, actually. I know Nico Rosberg isn't everyone's cup of tea, but he had to concede a couple of championships to realise he had to be more mean and more of a mean machine. So yeah, it's good to see. Well, the sun is out in Monaco. It's a lot better than yesterday's weather. There was clouds all over Monte Carlo, which for the posh people there, they probably don't even know what it looks like with their tan bodies. And do you blame them? If you've got the money, why not? And the swimming pool is nice and blue. Sadly, in the colours of Man City, we're seeing on that waterfront. But they've got the cars ready.
They're probably not even watching the race there. They're just focused on their champagne and on their girls lying in bikinis on the swimming pool and stuff. That's what they're focused on.
I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, actually, Tom Holland is there, the Spider-Man actor. Yeah, Serena Williams. And,
nice. Yeah.
And even after yesterday's game for Dortmund in his last game of the season, Erling Haaland is there watching. And he looks like he's having a great time. But he scored a couple of goals yesterday for Dortmund to help them secure third in the Bundesliga. And so the engineers are stepping away from the cars before they go out on the formation lap. We've got a few messages coming in. We asked you on the live chat page, who do you think will win the Monaco Grand Prix? If you haven't yet, do let us know in the chat page before the race starts. Jamie Burgoyne says Mazzy spin. Durok says Mazzy spin. Jamie Burgoyne again says Mazzy spin. Spin with a B instead. Amazazan Aguara says Hamiltonian. Okay. Joe Mitchell says, hi, where are you guys? We're actually at Monaco right now. We're watching it in our fancy bedrooms or living room or whatever you call it. Now, we're in the UK. I'm up north. He's down south. We got Marcel Egelsia saying hello. Hello, Marcel. Durak saying Taco Land. Yes, if you got a spare taco, do send me it. And again, Jamie Burgoyne stresses that Mazzy Spin is going to win. And even Joe Mitchell has got in touch and says Liverpool is better than them. Okay. Unless he means West Ham.
Oh, for God's sake.
Marcel says Vettel is going to win. Well, I mean, I'd love to see that happen, but I think it may take a few. He's won there before. May take a few cars to crash out, but who knows? Claudia says Max will hit it. Rocky does it all, says Max for the win. And Joe Mitchell got in touch again because he loves Giovinazzi. He says the Italian Jesus is going to win.
Is this his first time getting into Q3, Giovinazzi?
I'm not sure, actually, to be honest with you.
Because I saw the fact that he qualified 10th, and I thought, actually, that's really good for that team, for Giovinazzi. And qualifying Raikkonen again as well.
Raikkonen, you feel as though this could be his last season, don't you?
Do you think?
I think.
Walk away?
I mean, I said this for the last 3 years, and then he signs another contract. So
but he doesn't. He's always said that. Oh, I don't need to do this. I just do it for the fun of it. So
good money as well, you know.
Yeah, I reckon he'll just at the point where he gets bored, he'll walk away. But I don't think he's necessarily bored yet, is he? I think.
No. There's a Alfa Romeo stuck on the penultimate corner. And how weird does that look? Max Verstappen not actually in the pole position on the grid. Leclerc's. It's like they're paying tribute to Leclerc, saying even though he's not going to race there, that's where he should have started. Well, here we go then. We're just waiting for the last 3 cars or so to get themselves ready on the starting grid. My cat is scratching the door, which is at the wrong time, Audrey.
I think you're ahead of me, actually.
Oh, really?
Stream. Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Because I've only just seen the car stopping now.
Oh, blimey. So I'm a bit ahead of Dom, so I'll give him a bit of a lead here. So here we go then. The cars are getting ready. We're just waiting for the red lights. The 20 best drivers in the world on probably the greatest circuit in the world. And here we go then. Lights out and away we go. And Max Verstappen turns towards Hamilton's path and he goes into the first corner ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and the Ferrari Carlos Sainz is third. No collisions yet, and there's Verstappen goes off into the distance, and what a start by the Red Bull. It's a nice clean start from him, and I don't think we've seen any crashes at all, which is good to see. And what nice clean start over the little hill they go down towards, of course, the little spiry corner with all the trees.
It's only just gone lights out for me now.
Let me see if I can pause.
But Verstappen got away well from Bottas there. Already done well. Oh, there's a couple of cars going off over the first turn. But yeah, you're right. Quite cleanly so far. Nobody's gone off as of yet.
Let me pause it.
Oh,
I can pause it for. Let me pause for a few seconds for you.
Yeah, Verstappen's already getting a good sort of bit of distance ahead of Bottas, and Norris has already got up to 4th, I think.
I'm just going to let the cat out.
The McLaren. Oh God. But yeah, they're just coming down now into the tunnel. It seems. Yeah, Verstappen and Bottas look like they're gonna put a bit of space ahead of the Ferrari of Sainz in third.
Oh, so the Leclerc on the board is last, but I don't actually think his car went out at all. I think they've just filled it up. But yeah, 78 laps of this circuit. Of course, they are very quick laps with it being a short circuit. But yeah, sun shining. So Verstappen first, Bottas second, Sainz third, Norris fourth, Gasly fifth, Hamilton sixth. Let's not forget. And I do apologise, folks. Because I'm so used to Hamilton being at the front, I forgot it was Bottas instead when I was doing my commentary at the start there. So sorry about that. You get so used to it. It annoys me, Dom. That bit of Monaco now that they've put a wall. You know when you go into the tunnel and you see the sight of the sea. They've kind of cut that off now. They've put like a higher wall up, and it's. I hate that because I used to love the views, like when you're on the game, you're going past.
I see what you mean now. Actually,
yeah.
Now it's just an advertising board of houses or something like that.
Well, go on, Dom.
No, I was going to say nobody's made necessarily a very poor start. There's not been any major changes in the top 10 so far, other than. I think Ricciardo down at 13th has dropped a couple of places. Stroll and Raikkonen, they got ahead of him. But other than that, I don't think there's been too many major changes in the top grid. Alonso has managed to get past both Russell and Tsunoda, so he's up a few places. But other than that, it's just showing +1, +1, +1, +1 for everybody on the grid. But they've all got up ahead of Leclerc.
I've just noticed that Verstappen's got the fastest lap so far. I missed the time there, but that's only within 3 laps. But yeah, fastest lap on Monaco is so risky because, that's going to be vital today, Dom. Maybe, if Lewis Hamilton doesn't get anywhere near the top, then he can aim for fastest lap maybe.
Yeah, still get that extra point. They showed actually before the race the predicted tyre strategy, and they were suggesting it might only actually be a one-stop race.
Yeah.
Which is going to be very interesting. So it's going to be the case then of just kind of almost an endurance race if they can just keep it going at that kind of pace for the last 50 or so laps to just make sure if there are no accidents, then it's going to pretty much stay as it is.
Yeah,
interesting to see the driver's stamina as such.
It's good. This is a good insight from Connor after we were talking about the wall with the sea. Connor says it's so the glare from the sea doesn't get into the driver's eyes as they take the corner. I'm amazed they've only brought that in now then, because with Monaco being around for so long, but it's a good. I mean, it makes sense, definitely. Verstappen's got another fastest lap as he tries to get a bit further away from Valtteri Bottas. They're just showing the replay again of the start. Verstappen did well there. He just nudged himself a bit to the right just to get into the path so that Bottas had no chance of somehow getting faster than him towards turn 1. And then that was it, really. He had it in control.
Yeah, Verstappen already a second ahead of Bottas, which of course means that Bottas can't use the DRS, even though there's hardly any DRS spots in this track anyway. But still, it's not going to be too helpful, as you know that overtaking's nigh on impossible here. But yeah, just looking at the start here as well. Yeah, pretty much everybody gets across quite cleanly. I think it's that an Alpine that's had to go slightly wide in the first corner. But other than that, pretty much everybody managed to get across quite well. A couple of lockups, but that's about it. Yeah, Verstappen very well to close off Bottas immediately to make sure he couldn't get passed around on the side. And Verstappen, it's already looking pretty positive for the Red Bull.
Yeah, 5 laps gone. Bottas has got fastest lap. The gap is currently 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's looking already like Verstappen and Bottas are pulling away from Sainz in third, and it's going to be very much 2-horse race for the majority of this, I think.
Yeah. Of course, you can see on a live leaderboard, folks, what tyre choices they've gone for. Of course, Verstappen, Bottas, Carlos Sainz, all pretty much the top 10 started on softs, while the bottom lot of Mick Schumacher and Mazepin were also on softs at the beginning of the race. Julius X asking what happened with Leclerc. Sadly, they couldn't deal with the damages of the car in time. It seems. I don't know the full info because me and Dom we're preparing for the stream, and then we got a text from our group chat to say that he can't start the race. So if anyone does know fully, then do tell us. We don't have the commentary on either from the streams. Well, I don't, so I don't know what they're saying. But yeah, there's...
I've got it on, but I've got it on quiet.
Just to keep Crofty's mouth shut, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was a gearbox issue. I think they said they had an issue with the gearbox, and therefore they couldn't fix it in time. But yeah, initially they said that he was going to start and that he was going to come out on pole. But then he came out and then he had to go straight back into the pits, so he wasn't out on pole. Yeah. So then they said that he was going to start from the pits. And then a few minutes later, they said, well, he's not going to start at all.
Such a shame.
Yeah, really big shame for him, for his home Grand Prix as well. Oh, they're just showing a replay as well of, I think that's Mick Schumacher getting around the outside of Mazepin. And Mazepin, again, having a pretty dire performance in that Haas.
How long do you think he's got? But the problem is, Dom, Haas have to kind of be kind to him because it's his sponsorship that got him the seat.
He's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get rid of that money. And I think that's, when you look back over some of the drivers that some of the lower sort of teams have had over the past sort of few years. I mean, I think back to, remember HRT, and they had Bruno Senna in their side for a while. And even though he was pretty hopeless, you keep him in because he's got the name.
He's got the name, exactly.
So, and of course, that's going to bring in sponsors, going to bring in attention. So I wouldn't be surprised if, I mean, I'm assuming he'll last the full season. I don't think they will change things halfway through, especially the fact that they are pretty much rock solid last. And they're not looking like they're making any ground on Williams or the AlphaTauri ahead of them. So
yeah,
I think I'm assuming they'll probably stay for the full season because it will look quite bad if they got rid of him halfway and then they lose a whole load of sponsorship money.
Yeah, this is the thing. And Mick Schumacher, again, great driver it seems from winning F2 last year, but also the name helps as well for him, and also his cousin is racing in F3 at the moment, Ralf Schumacher's son. So there's definitely, there could be a dominance in Schumacher's in the next few years in Formula One maybe. But we're on lap 7 and Bottas has got fastest lap again. I think it was I might be wrong, but I think it was a 1:16.8, but I can't remember the times from my head. But yeah, the only driver out is Leclerc, but we've got the cameras on Carlos Sainz at the moment, who would hate to do the repeat of Leclerc and hit the barrier just before he approaches the last few corners, like his teammate did yesterday.
I think Sainz will be slightly disappointed that he's now 3 seconds off Bottas, as he's not able to keep the gap with the top two, because you'd think the fact that the Ferraris have been very pacey, not only in qualifying but throughout the whole weekend in free practice. And I think Sainz would have been looking at this thinking, I've got a good chance of winning this. Especially, with the fact that we've been so pacey throughout the whole weekend. So I think he'll be quite disappointed that he's not keeping up with the top two as well as he'd hoped. As well, I think Perez will be slightly disappointed the fact that he's not showing the kind of pace that his teammate is. He's down
I know.
losing time on Vettel as well. Now Vettel will be really pleased because he's had a torrid start to his time at Aston Martin. So the fact that he's up in 7th and could get some decent points here would be a good result for him.
I do worry for Perez because it's how long can Red Bull wait on him? Because they've done this with Albon. Well, Albon, in all fairness, they gave him the full season last year.
1.5 seasons.
1.5, yeah. But it was literally up until the end of the season. They just went, yeah, we've called Perez.
Yeah,
and you'll be doing the simulation stuff instead. So it is a cruel environment, Red Bull. I mean, it's a great team, but they do make some cruel decisions, which they do in their best interest, of course. That's the way it is in some Formula One teams. But yeah, at the moment, he's currently 8th behind Vettel, which Vettel's doing very well, I think, in an Aston Martin. Fastest lap now, Lando Norris, who's in 4th. Wouldn't it be good to see him get a Monaco podium, Dom, in only his 2nd Monaco Grand Prix?
I mean, he's made such a hugely impressive start to his Formula One career, hasn't he? And he was competing. He's out competing Ricciardo at the moment. He was out competing Sainz last year. He just looks like a really hugely impressive driver. I just wish he would get off. He'd spend a bit less time on Twitch instead. Because I do find that
But I
quite
guess
annoying.
it wasn't it. No, I think it was Leclerc where Leclerc did Twitch last year. This was in lockdown before the season came back, and it was his girlfriend had to create an account on Twitch to send him a message on the Twitch stream to say, "I'm outside your house. I can't get in," because I think she didn't have her keys. It's absolutely hilarious. And then he literally saw the message, and Leclerc's just like any boyfriend when they're in trouble, just went, "Hang on, I'll be right back." It was hilarious. I'll have to find you the clip. It was so funny. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, folks, do see it. It's hilarious.
As expected, Vettel is also dropping off Hamilton. He's now 5.5 seconds off Hamilton, just ahead of him. Which I think was expected because Hamilton's going to be on top speed, looking to gain on the top drivers, and he's still got Gasly in 5th in his sights. And we're just looking at them now, actually.
Well, I mean, Verstappen looks great at the moment. The cameras are on Sergio Perez, as he hasn't. There isn't going to be much opportunities for him, sadly, to go up the table. I don't think when it's Monaco.
Perez, I think, is an interesting one because when he started, obviously, in Formula One, he was with McLaren, who at the time weren't quite hitting their dip yet. They were still sort of relatively doing all right. And obviously, he's had a few really good performances for a few different teams near the bottom or the mid-table. And you feel now that this season is probably...
justifying it.
Yeah, it's his best chance to do really well in a top car. I think Red Bull kind of turned around to him and said, "Well, look, you've performed well in rubbish cars, so we'll give you a good car to see how well you can do at the top speed near the top of the table."
Yeah,
and he really has to justify that opportunity and take that chance. And at the moment, he's doing okay. But the fact that he is kind of well off the pace of Verstappen throughout the whole season isn't a great sign.
I do think his McLaren days were a bit harsh, though, because he only got one season, and they decided that he should go before the end of that season, which was 2013. And what annoyed me was the car was not great at all. It wasn't providing any... They weren't going to get podiums with it. They weren't going to win races with it. And even Jenson Button, his teammate, was struggling. And I do think they should have given him one more season. And then McLaren showed for at least a few more years they couldn't do it even with a different engine and even with Fernando Alonso. So I'm not saying Perez would have been any better than he was in 2013, but I don't think they gave him enough time. And he was young as well, let's not forget. He'd only been in F1 for 3 years. So yeah, it wasn't a good time for Perez. But I think when he got that Red Bull seat, it shows that if you can put the hard work in again, Dom, you can get faith again from these big boys.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like Christian Horner, though, when the fact that he's really honest and he's very kind of direct and blunt about things. And he's, he was being interviewed. He said, "Look, this Formula One team exists to advertise an energy drink. And if that energy drink decide that actually it's not worth them having... but if we're not doing well enough, so it's not worth having this, then the whole team will just go and just collapse, and all that history and all that success will just go." So the pressure that must be on them to perform must be immense. Even more than the Ferraris and the Mercedes and McLarens and whatever. So I think that's why they do have this huge shift in changing in drivers all the time, because they need the best possible people they can get. Otherwise, they will fold.
Do send us a super chat, folks, in the chat page, and we'll read it out on our live stream. We're currently on 13 laps out of the 78, and it's Verstappen leading by 1.7 of seconds. Sainz third, Norris fourth, Gasly fifth. Hamilton's gone up to 6th after starting the race in 7th. Vettel 7th. Perez 8th, Giovinazzi 9th, and Ocon 10th. And hello, just as we talk about Perez, he's got fastest lap of 1:15.9. So that's good to see. for the data, of course, on the Red Bull lineup. But yeah, it is true, though. It's that worry of if Red Bull ever became a team that weren't performing at all, nowhere near the top, all it takes is for Red Bull to go, it's been fun, now we're going to do something else.
Yeah, and then not only do you have, two drivers that are going to be without a seat, but you've got hundreds, potentially thousands of people who are going to be out of a job.
Yeah. I mean, look at Honda before Braun came in. It was, you're going to lose a factory and a whole team.
Yeah, and it's different as well because when you have smaller teams as such, like at the beginning of this, at the beginning of the last decade, where they had a few extra small teams come in like HRT and Virgin.
Yeah. They all came in too quick, I thought.
Yeah, and they sort of came and went quite quickly, so it didn't quite have the impact. But when you've got a team like Red Bull, who's already, they've been in for, they must have been in for about sort of 15 years?
16 years. So they started in 2005 with Coulthard.
Yeah, so they've already kind of made quite a bit of history, and they've since they've come in, they've pretty much been up and near the top, and they had that.
He's got fastest lap again.
Hey,
1:15.8. Well done.
But so if they were to put, that would be absolutely massive if Red Bull were to go. And it's the pressure that you've got to deliver. The pressure that Christian Horner must have as the team principal.
Oh, I think it doesn't change, does it? Even if you win a world championship, you're going to have the same pressure again the following year. But I mean, if anyone's wondering if Red Bull are rumoured to go or anything, no, this is just a scenario of if they did. That's if it got really bad. But ever since they won that world championship though with Red Bull, they've been a top team since. It's just winning that world championship, hasn't it? I mean, who knows if Braun had stayed as Braun, would they have been continuing on to be the top? I don't know, but it's Mercedes who took over them, and then a few years after they got used to the branding and getting the right team and the right drivers, they've been dominating the sport ever since. So it just shows that even if Red Bull did go, I think there would be a lot of people investing in the team because they've got the right kind of people to at least be a top 2, top 3 team in the Constructors' Championship. But so don't worry, any of you Red Bull fans. I'm sure there'll be the wings will be flying again next year and years to come in F1. See what I did there?
It was good, very good.
Thank you. I'm being up my own arse when I asked to see if you realised it. But anyway, let us know in the live chat page, folks, where you're watching the race from today, where you're watching our stream from. We always like to know where you lot are in the world watching our watch-alongs. I keep saying watch, and I actually am wearing a watch. But if you're wondering, do join us tonight for the US PGA Championship. It's the final day. Can Phil Mickelson win another major at the age of 50 years old? Who knows? He's currently leading. And Brooks Koepka's the man that's going to try and stop him. So that's at 7:30. Join us for that. Currently on lap 16. Now, Verstappen has noticed his teammate can get fastest lap, and Max Verstappen has responded to it with a 1:15.818.
We'll be looking within the next sort of 3 or 4 laps for cars to start pitting. So this is going to... We're getting into the crunch time now where it's going to start... Things are going to start getting interesting.
Let's be honest, it's probably going to be the only part of the race where it could change. Because we're not going to see much overtakes if anyone's new to F1 with this circuit.
Am I right in saying that I think Martin Brundle said before the race that 90% of all Monaco Grand Prix have had a safety car at some point?
I
heard that.
I'm not sure. I mean, our mutual friend Harry would know.
Yes,
he would definitely have the answer.
But you'd think that at some point something's going to happen. There's going to be a safety car which could potentially, make some kind of shift in the pack. But other than that, it's the pitting where the big changes could happen.
Currently reading. I like this comment from Burgoyne, one of our fellow watch-alongers. He says, when Caterham closed, because we're on about the teams that disappeared recently, he says, when Caterham closed, Their factory was left abandoned. Tons of urban explorers doing vids all over the gaff. Yes, I've seen the videos, which
Really?
I still think it's available now to just go. There's like overgrown trees and plants all over the buildings.
Wow.
And I remember someone went to explore it like one summer. I think it was last summer or the summer before. And they found all sorts of random catering junk, like signed cards from Heikki Kovalainen just on the floor. And all the floors were green, and the green and yellow strip for catering. So yeah, I would love to go and see it. So if it's still there, maybe we should do a video.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's south somewhere. I don't know where, because a lot of the teams are south, aren't they?
Yeah. Red Bull and Milton Keynes and Mercedes are like Woking or something like that.
Yeah. I've been to the Woking one, and it is it really is just a James Bond-esque kind of venue. It's like, try and find us. We're next to a pool in Woking. But it's it is a fascinating place.
Looking at they've just put up a stat of the current pace on the track, and Vettel's actually the second quickest car out there at the moment.
Oh, really?
Which is very impressive. Yeah, just behind Verstappen.
Just shows, Dom, that even if you haven't got the best car, you still know the circuit. That'll never leave you.
Vettel is such a champion. He should be at a better team than Aston Martin.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Despite his Ferrari form.
I know that at the end of his Ferrari time he wasn't great, but I still think if he was at a Mercedes or if he was at a Red Bull, I still think he could be in with a chance of winning a title. I don't think he's quite done yet. I just think you don't win 4 titles on the bounce for nothing. You've got to have something about you to do that. I
mean, it's no different to Hamilton and Schumacher, isn't it? You are talking a driver that will be remembered for dominating the sport at one point.
100%.
Even though I think me and you probably started to moan about it at the time when he was dominating, you were starting to think, come on, someone stop Red Bull, but now it's the same with Mercedes now, in a way. Not that we've got anything against them. Mercedes is probably the greatest team in F1 we've ever seen, but you want to see challenges, and hopefully we continue seeing it with Verstappen at least in this championship. Valtteri Bottas has got fastest lap now, 1:15.7. So that's a massive increase with fastest lap there. But now Perez has responded with fastest lap.
Hey.
It's a 1:15.6. So,
Verstappen's just come on the team radio to say that he's happy with these tyres. So maybe they'd actually be looking to go out for a few more laps to see... because obviously Verstappen's going to be the one who's probably going to be setting the pace in terms of, when people are going to be pitting. So if he stays out for a bit longer, it's got the pit window's just opened actually. So cars that are on a one-stop strategy will be looking to pit around this lap.
We've reached 2,500 subscribers, so thank you, folks.
Yay!
At home. Hey, could this be a sign that Dom's West Ham are going to win? We'll find out later on. Oh, Lance Stroll's gone up. Well, I say go off the track. It just seems a bit weird to say go off the track when it's Monaco. But he has gone off the actual race line.
Just over the bumps.
Yeah, that could have been a nasty damage to the car, but he might be okay.
Lando Norris has also gotten a black and white flag for exceeding track limits.
How does that happen?
We're seeing quite a bit more of that actually this year, aren't we? There was a couple of races ago, there was a whole load of cars that were getting laps taken out for exceeding limits.
What do you think? I do feel like, have they just started to be a bit more strict? Because I know we've always had track limits, but I don't recall it being this tight. Have they forgot that the cars are bigger?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they just feel like, maybe there are some drivers out there who've been taking the mick a bit too much in terms of creating their own circuits. So, I don't know.
Do let us know, folks. What do you think of the track restrictions? As Abshir Ahmed has responded about your safety cars in Monaco.
Yes.
He says, Monaco has high safety car, yes, but also almost every winner recently was pole position, sometimes making the whole race boring and predictable. Yeah, I mean, that is Monaco. There's not going to be high drama. I think the last time we had high drama was when Olivier Panis won back in the 90s, which he never expected to win. I think, if I can remember correctly, it's the only race he ever won in F1. But if you're going to win a race, it's got to be Monaco.
It's the one that all the drivers love it. And you ask any driver in Formula 1, what's your favourite circuit? And the likelihood is they'll say Monaco. But ask any fan, what's your least favourite race to watch? They'll probably say Monaco, because even though it's really exciting for the drivers because you're right on the limit, it's so boring to watch because there's no overtaking.
But I'd imagine it's probably the most exciting for a driver in the race because the barriers are so close. And Mark Webber even came out on a podcast this week with David Coulthard and said that the last 10 laps before you're about to win, those barriers are getting closer. So it is a mindset that can be very tricky.
Who was it who had the huge crash a few years ago when after you're coming out of the tunnel and that
was Perez, wasn't it?
Was that Perez? He went
Perez
sideways into the barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a good performance so far from Ricciardo.
Sorry, Dom, I lost you for a moment via the Wi-Fi, but I've got you now. Oh, he's gone again. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Back.
Yeah, you're back. Don't worry.
Sorry
about that.
I got a notification from Zoom saying we apologise. There's an issue with your Zoom. So I think
the unstable
it's not my Wi-Fi's
message.
fault. I think it's Zoom's fault.
Damn you, Zoom. We've got Joe Mitchell saying Italian Jesus wanted that to happen. I don't know which bit. He is 9th, actually. He is behind Perez, so he's doing great. It looks as though they're interviewing Charles Leclerc since he's not being able to be in this race anymore. I don't know what he's saying, but I'm sure he's pretty disappointed. And as Dom said, it's the one.
Up so I can hear what he's saying.
Dom has said as well to me that Leclerc has never actually achieved points at Monaco, and this is his 3rd race, I think, in Monaco in his F1 career. So, no, he needs to hopefully do better next year if we're to have the Monaco Grand Prix again. 23 laps gone. Bottas is 3.3 seconds behind of Verstappen. What is it, Dom?
I think he said something like it wasn't actually necessarily the gearbox issue. They think it might be something else. And they said they don't actually know what the issue was, but it just wasn't safe to drive, so they couldn't put it.
Oh, right.
So yeah, it could be that could be a more interesting story for after the race. It might be bigger problems down at Ferrari than just a simple gearbox malfunction. Oh,
right. So that's it's such a shame though, Dom, because if only he just didn't crash in those last few seconds. I'm not saying Leclerc would have got pole because Carlos Sainz was going for it at the end there, but at least he would have started the race.
Yeah, I know.
Real shame.
And he would have had a chance to get on the podium at his home race in front of his, home crowd. Like you said earlier, on a track that he probably walks or drives down every single day.
Yeah.
When he's at home. So, yeah, big shame for him. Also, Mazepin has just become the first car to be lapped already.
Oh my God. What?
We're 20 laps in.
Oh, no.
He's 8 seconds off his teammate.
I've just seen it now, the blue flag. Oh my God.
That's shocking. I mean, I know he's bad, but he's...
Yeah, I never remember the details of Monaco sometimes, but being lapped at Monaco, I know it's a short circuit, so it can happen, but it just shows how slow the car and Mazepin has been. But again, maybe Mick Schumacher might get overlapped. We'll find out in the next later on in the race, I'm sure.
I saw a video come up on YouTube the other day of somebody suggesting, is Nikita Mazepin the worst driver we've ever seen in Formula One? And they went through a few sort of different ones of some of the worst ones that we had in the past. And they were looking at his stats and his times and things like that. And they said he's well up there to be one of the worst. And I feel bad because he's only had 4 races. So
and you just wonder what. I bet he's making so many basic mistakes, isn't he? I mean, it was the first 2 races he spanned so many times, and it was just kind of like once or twice. Once fair enough, twice, 3 times in there. Come on, you're meant to be one of the best drivers in the world. So to make errors like that is errors I would make on a video game.
Yeah.
It's hard to.
You can hear some of the other drivers getting annoyed with him already. Was it Leclerc actually at the last race? He said, "Oh, that was Mazepin up to his."
In practice, he said up to he'll never change or something.
Yeah.
He's already. I mean, that's the other thing, isn't it, Dom? It's the reputation around you. You know, when the drivers look at you like that, it's hard to really get out of that hole.
Yeah. I mean, well, was it Maldonado had a reputation for going off, and even though the guy was clearly talented and he won a race,
I know, I can't believe that.
he never shook that reputation of, oh well, it's Maldonado, he's going to have a crash at some point. So
I think Verstappen's just overlapped Mick Schumacher, if that is the Haas I'm looking at. So
yes,
I
think you're right. So both the Haas have been lapped now. I mean, Haas, I think it's a bit upsetting, actually, the fact that they have been so terrible over the last couple of years, because they started off in Formula One actually really sort of positively, and they had that really good season where they finished, did they finish 4th or 5th or something like that in the Constructors' Championship? And it was looking pretty good for them, and now it just looks completely dire. And especially because I love Gunther Steiner.
He's
such
amazing.
A character, isn't he?
I love him.
He's the best bit about Formula One Drive to Survive on Netflix.
He is. He's an absolute drama.
Yeah.
He's absolutely brilliant. We have just had to remove a message because someone with the name of women's rights was a mistake is just not on. So sorry if anyone's been hit by that, but we have decided to remove the account from our live chat page because, well, quite frankly, maybe you shouldn't have a right in anything if you're going to speak like that. Blue flag again because one of the Haas cars has got a Ferrari behind him. I think that it's either. I can't tell which car it is, but it is a Haas, but which number I couldn't see. Either way, it's one of the Haases that has been overlapped by Carlo Sainz. I think the only way, I mean, if Ferrari can get a podium, Dom, this weekend, it's a good result.
Oh, it's a huge result, especially the fact that it's been so far pretty much Hamilton, Bottas and Verstappen just out and away at the top. And the fact that they didn't start on pole, but they did technically manage to get a pole this weekend, which is really impressive. And it's been a lot more sort of positive signs for them this year, especially after the dreadful year that they had last year. So it would be a huge result if they could get a podium, and Sainz is looking like he's putting in a good shift so far.
Absolutely.
He's already actually catching up with Bottas. He's less than 2 seconds down on Bottas, and Verstappen has managed to pull away at the front. So Sainz is going to be potentially looking to make a move on the Finn in the next few laps.
We've got KMS Turpit saying Checo Perez looks like Ben Affleck. Does he?
Does he?
I've never really thought of that. I'm trying to see it, but I don't see it. That's bizarre. That is bizarre.
I think he looks a bit more like Hernandez.
He does, doesn't he, a little bit? Yeah. There was a picture of them two together once because they're both Mexicans. And I think someone joked in the comments and went, wait, which one's who? It's like the bit off The Simpsons when one of the Fat Tony's men sees 4 Krusties And he goes, wait, I'm confused. I'm seeing 4 crusties. Dom and I have a guilty... Well, I say guilty pleasure. There's nothing wrong in it, but we love our Simpsons, so... Whenever
it's the greatest
TV show of all time. Yeah, absolutely. See, we got the same views, folks. It's hard to find someone with the same views, but Dominic's one of them. Even though he was named after the Ryder Cup. Back with the race, which does help him when Europe win. But if USA win, I have to show my anger towards him. You better head back to the States, Dom. Which is this year, actually, in September.
Oh, is it? Oh, nice.
Bottas second, Verstappen first, Sainz third, Norris fourth, Gasly fifth, Hamilton. He's only gone up 1, if anyone's wondering, because he started in 7th. He's currently 6th. Perez has got fastest lap at the moment in 8th. So Perez has been able to get quite a few there, along with Verstappen. And Hamilton, I think he's been able to get 1 or 2 fastest laps in this race so far. But
he's actually, in the last 2 laps, he's gained half a second on each lap on Gasly. So
really?
He's looking to bring in, hone in on Gasly, and around the pit changes, we're probably looking to jump that place, I think.
We've got Daniel Preston saying pits. I wonder if that is coming up, because this is where it gets interesting.
I mean, we're already actually, we're not far off the halfway mark, and nobody's looking like they're pitting so far, which is surprising, because I think we expected them to be pitting slightly earlier than this.
I wonder, because it looks as though it'll be a 1-stop race. And Connor mentioned it yesterday, could most likely be a 1-stop race, and the way it's looking, I think it could be.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think at this point, the fact that we're 30 laps in and nobody's pitted, I think it would be quite a risk to do a 2-stop strategy now, especially the fact that you can't overtake for anything.
Well, here they come then. Hamilton's going in for the pits, and he's just come out. 2.2 seconds it took. But the pit number is 23.7 seconds, so he's out in 8th. So not really done any damage to him at all. So he's gone in early after 30 laps. Will it be the last time? I think me and Don will probably think it will be. Lots of blue flags being waved at the moment, as one of the Williams cars now having to let Verstappen come through.
That was a really good pit from Hamilton. Really smooth. 2.2 seconds. It's still crazy to me how you can do a pit stop so quickly. Like in 2 seconds. It's insane. But yeah, really smooth pit. Hamilton is exactly what he needed. He's going to be on fresh tyres now, and it's going to look to make the move on Perez and Vettel.
Oh, Bottas is in the pits. Oh, what are they doing? They're taking forever on one of the wheels. No! Oh, there's even smoke coming out of the left front tyres.
No, really?
No, he's absolutely... Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh, I'm just seeing it now. He's coming in.
Oh, what have they done?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
you've got front right, and it's all gone horribly wrong. They can't get it. No, they can't even get it off. The new one tyre isn't on. They can't get the old one off. It's
it's just his luck, isn't it? It's just his luck.
Awful.
And they're literally running around wondering what to do. Oh, God.
Oh, it's so excruciating.
They've been in the pits for 50 seconds at least.
Meantime, Norris has had a quick stop, 2.2 seconds, and Gasly has also had a 3-second stop as well. So they've both got in and done well. Oh, God, yes, and Bottas is still there.
He's still there.
Pit stop's gone for 50 seconds now. It's awful. Oh, it's done terrible. Oh, you must be feeling for him sat in that. He's done so well to keep up with Verstappen at the top, and now he's tumbling down 13th. 14th now. It's horrible.
Oh, that is ridiculous. Well, that's it. Are they even going to bring him out again? Let's be honest. What's the point bringing him out? Because he's not going to get in the points, is he?
No, and you can't exactly take him out on 3 new tyres and 1 old one. That would be ridiculous. So, I think they're retiring.
Yeah,
car.
I think they are.
They're retiring car.
Because I'm sure I saw the steering wheel come off. Oh,
That's
dear.
Crazy. That's so disappointing. Poor Bottas. he gets this a lot. Actually, I feel like he doesn't actually make too many mistakes, but he has some very bad luck.
I mean, Nigel has put in what I was thinking in my head. He's put Valtteri, it's James. You have to let Lewis through. Who knows?
Well, Vettel has just gone out and pitted. Is he going to get out ahead of Hamilton and Gasly? I think just wheel to wheel with Gasly there. No, you've got to a replay of Stroll. Why?
I know.
I hate the cameras sometimes on these rigs. Why did you pull away from the really exciting moment?
That could be the only exciting moment.
Oh no, Vettel's still ahead of Gasly and Hamilton, so that's huge. So Hamilton wasn't able to make the big jump there that he wanted to. But I think the big one now is when
Sainz
Perez
has gone in.
When
2.7.
Going to be able to stay ahead of him there.
Oh, Sainz has gone behind one of the Williams out of the pit, so that'll slow him a little bit. Perez has got fastest lap, but Perez is second. Fastest time, 1:14.5. But he hasn't pitted, and neither has Verstappen yet. Imagine that, a Red Bull 1-2. That would be a great response to Mercedes fucking up this afternoon, because Bottas is out of the race, folks. He has joined Charles Leclerc on the retirement list. Not retirement from the career, just from the race. They're very young people. I don't think they want to retire just yet. But, wow, all of a sudden become very interesting. That might be the only drama we'll see. But we've got the Red Bull cars still to come out as well into the pits. 33 laps gone. Nigel has also said, my local tyre power dudes are probably better at changing tyres than Valtteri's pit crew.
Wow.
Probably right.
Yeah, potentially.
Oh, hello. Oh, there's my lunch. Thanks, Mama. She always knows when to come in. I need a sign on my door. We've got a few more. Connor Porter says that was Bottas's best opportunity out of the championship hunt for sure now. Yeah, I mean, look, we knew deep down he was out of it, but I think if there's any chance for him to believe in a championship this year, it's probably gone just after 5 races, which is crazy.
I don't think, to be honest, ever since Bottas came in, I've never really seen him as being a massive title.
No. I think in his first season you did, because Nico Rosberg did it the year before. So you always believed that maybe Bottas can do the same. But I think Bottas has been great in terms of he's been a great, consistent driver as his number 2 driver. And he should always, he'll take it hard if he ever retired with no world championships. But I think he should take the fact that he still was one of the most important drivers in Mercedes history.
He's what Mercedes needed at
this time,
because I think to go on this big long run of dominance that they had, they needed Hamilton to be the main man and to have a second driver to push him, but mainly be there, to support and get solid results, and that's what Bottas has done. But I think now...
sorry.
Or was that the pit stop for...
Verstappen's fine. It's just Perez is coming in down the race, down the grid, and it's like for a moment I thought, Perez, don't crash the car, don't ruin it, or your contract is gone. It's all good.
I think it's going to be interesting now that when I've just seen Perez go.
Perez is leading. Come on, lad. Fastest lap as well.
But yeah, when Bottas leaves inevitably at the end of the season, and if Hamilton wins his 8th title this year, which I think he will do, will they get in then for next season a driver who they think can realistically challenge Hamilton for the title? And will they get in somebody like they won't be able to get in, but somebody of a kind of a Verstappen or a Leclerc sort of ilk, who's young, fast, and who they think is going to be. Because I'm assuming the next driver they get in is going to be George Russell.
Well, this is it. We all expect that, but it wasn't long ago Esteban Ocon was rumoured, but he's not been at all mentioned at all now. I mean, George Russell has been so great for British motorsport, but he just wants it, doesn't he? He's so driven, and I was
Mr.
gutted.
Saturday.
Yeah. I was gutted for what happened on in Imola with him and Bottas, which for me was a 50-50 incident. Perez has gone into the pits. Oh no, he's 4th. as he's coming out because Norris has just overtaken. So Perez, has he just missed out on the podium this weekend?
But that's a fantastic pit stop though for Perez because 2.8 seconds. Okay, it's not necessarily the quickest, but yeah, coming out in fourth, which means he's managed to skip that whole pack of Vettel, Gasly, and Hamilton.
Yeah,
so he's managed to jump 4 places up to fourth. So that was a huge pit stop for him. And now the fact that those 3 have dropped down, it looks like the podium certainly for Hamilton is probably going to be out of the question now.
I think. I mean, you could see it from the pit crew as well after Perez had gone out of the garage. Pretty much all of them patting their backs, and they knew they did a good job there. So at the moment, Red Bull are going on to win another Monaco Grand Prix. Last time they did it was Ricciardo in 2018, which was pretty much revival for him after he should have won the race a couple of years before, but then had pit problems, and Hamilton pipped him to it. So there's been famous moments in Monaco with Red Bull, and they've won it with Vettel as well. If I'm correct from the top of my head, I don't think Verstappen's ever won in Monaco, so this would be a big moment.
No. Yeah.
But Perez still got fastest lap, so if he could... Who knows? Can he get a chance at podium? Who knows? Norris, though, let's not forget. Lando Norris, we said, didn't we, earlier?
I know.
Would be amazing, and he is third.
What a huge effort that would be for the young guy. This would be his second podium of the season, I think, or would this be his first? Actually, I can't remember.
Second this season.
Second this season.
Yeah.
Because he had a couple of podiums last year, didn't he? But
yeah.
What a what a performance that would be, especially because Ricciardo has performed very poorly this weekend and isn't even in the top 10 currently. It really shows that Norris has come on leaps and bounds in the last couple of years and is really looking like a future star. I'm gutted for Ricciardo because I love him. I think he's great, and I really do think he's a quality driver and somebody who at one point really had a good chance to win a championship. And now it's looking like potentially that chance is slowly slipping away. If the impossible happened and he went back to Red Bull, or he got a chance to drive for the top team again, you never know. But I think now it's, especially because he's like 30 now, and
you see, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I find Daniel Ricciardo overrated. I think he'll be known as a Grand Prix winner, but nothing more. He's never challenged for a championship. And I'm not expecting anything this season. It's his first season at McLaren, and let's be honest, Lando Norris, I expect him to be the priority because he's one of their own in a way, and he's been at the team longer. So I think Ricciardo's great. His character and personality is great for F1. He never stops smiling.
Yeah.
He's always a good laugh when they interview him and stuff before he's out driving. But I just think Ricciardo's just one of those where, sadly for you Australians watching, I don't think he'll ever win a world championship.
And which will be gutting. I'll be really gutted if he does, because he's my favourite driver on the grid. I love him, and it will. I think you're probably right. I think the chance has probably gone now, but it would be a big shame if that was the case.
We got Connor asking me, Jamie, what are your thoughts on Christian Horner now? Now, at the last race, I said that Christian Horner should possibly leave the team because of how many mistakes they're making tactically against Mercedes. And I still stick by that. Today, let's be honest, if this was an outer track, would Red Bull win this race? Probably not. But sadly, when you've got Hamilton who can't overtake because of the circuit layout, I think that's your problem. If Hamilton had started any other race, 8th today, or 7th or 6th or whatever, like he has done today, not in the top 2 at least, Hamilton would somehow find a way and still win the race, or at least get in the podium, because he's just that good, but also the car is very fast as well. So it's you can't judge after today's race. Red Bull have just got it nailed on in terms of they've done a good job in Monaco, but on an outer track, sorry, Mercedes are going to win every time as long as they've got the tools with them.
Yeah, I think you're right. They just showed a replay of Bottas's pit, and it was just, it's so upsetting.
I know, it's just his luck. It really is. Imagine if it was Hamilton, though. Because that would have really made the championship interesting.
Oh, yeah. But I think you're right. I think Mercedes is still the benchmark that everybody has to hit. And, that's still they're still way out in front above anybody else. And they're still the favourites for both the drivers and the Constructors' Championship. But I think Red Bull have done well, and actually the last couple of years they have tried to sort of claw back a bit of space to them, and it's not necessarily as clear-cut Mercedes at the top now. And Christian Horner, you've got to say, he's done
great,
a fantastic job.
He's done great, but I just think with how long he's been there, would a new face make it better and refreshing? Because I'm not saying Cristiano is not good at his job. I just think you've done your bit. You've carried it ever since it started. Now hand the flag to somebody else. Maybe even change it. Maybe even let go of Adrian Newey. As good as he's been as an engineer for the team and a genius he has been since he went to Red Bull after he was with McLaren. I think Adrian Newey might need to go. I just sometimes think a refresh might be good, because it's been come the end of this season, if they don't win the World Championship, it's been at least 8 years. So
yeah,
we'll see though. New regulations next year, so that might be why Horner will be around a bit longer.
Yeah, but then they can both walk off into the sunset hand in hand, saying we've done a good job. Christian Horner can go off with his Spice Girl.
Yeah.
And
such a random. How did they even meet?
I don't know, actually. I'm assuming it's at a Formula One race.
Yeah, probably. Oh, it's bizarre. But yeah, no, Christian Horner's great. But I said to I spoke to Connor about this, where I look at. Actually, I think I said this to Jack as well on a watch along recently, where I said that Horner would be someone that would go into F1, as in part of the F1 management there, like Ross Brawn, because I even a few years back would have thought Horner would take over Bernie Eccleston,
really?
like just run the day-to-day of F1 whenever Eccleston retired, but that hasn't happened. So because he was close mates with Eccleston as well, and he knows what to do to lead a good team. So
that would be interesting. That'd be really interesting. Mick Schumacher has now been lapped for the second time. And he's had black and white flags, so not going too well for the Haas team this weekend.
The rest of the team, well, the Tiffy, Sonado, God, and Russell have been overlapped as well. I know Sonado's in his first season; it's only his 5th ever F1 race, but I don't know. Just when you compare him to Gasly, it's quite hard to
especially because he started the first race of the season so well. Because in qualifying, didn't he in Q2 in the first race of the season, didn't he finish top or something like that in like first or second qualifying, and he looked like he was going to be somebody really exciting, and since then he's been pretty poor in comparison to his teammate.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, Gasly for me, I feel like he deserves another chance at a promotion, whether that's Red Bull or somewhere else. But
a race winner now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I wonder how Christian Horner felt that day.
Yeah.
And Helmut Marko. Of course, Helmut Marko's still with Red Bull, of course, as one of the main leaders. And he's been around for a while now in F1.
Oh, I just saw Serena Williams, and I think it was Boris Becker who was stood next to her as well.
Boris Becker, really?
I think it was.
Oh, really?
White beard and white hair.
He is getting old. No, that's not Boris Becker.
Is it not?
No, it's someone from Aston Martin. It looks as though Serena Williams might be a guest for Aston Martin this weekend. She's wearing a denim jacket. She, of course, has won 23 Grand Slams. Quite an achievement. She's still one off, though. She's still one off the all-time major list, so she needs one more major.
Does she? And then she becomes the greatest tennis player of all time.
Yeah, and in a couple of weeks, she only has to go up the road to play in the French Open. So she's probably staying put here to train ahead of that, unless she's injured. I'm not sure. But 43 laps gone. The lap total is 78, so we're past the halfway point now. Verstappen leading Carlos Sainz by 3.3 seconds. Lando Norris third. Can he get a podium for McLaren? What a moment it would be for him If so, Perez is 4th with fastest lap at the moment. No one's actually gone near the fastest lap for a while, so maybe because of the tyres being hard tyres for most, maybe it's not going to be seen. We'll find out, but maybe not.
Well, like I said earlier, I think now the fact that we've had the pit stop, they're probably not going to pit again because Monaco is so hard to overtake. It's now pretty much a case of, well, can everybody just keep a cool, calm head and just take their car to the end of the race?
Yeah,
and you'd think that there are going to be a couple of mistakes here and there, as fatigue and stamina come into it. So it's now a case of just, can everybody keep a cool head and endure the rest of the race, and make sure that they still stay on the pace, because you can't imagine. I can't really see too many people having too many overtakes in the last 30 odd laps.
So Raikkonen's gone into the pits, and that's his first pit. So he's now down to 12th.
He stayed out for a while.
He did. Latifi and Sonado, along with Alonso and Stroll, are so far not in the pit. Stroll's done all right. He's 8th as well with no pit stops.
It's going to be a strong result for Vettel if he can stay 5th. That's going to be a huge result for Aston Martin.
Is absolutely, and for him as well, just to get some confidence back, I feel.
When was the last time he finished 5th in any car? I mean, because last season he was hardly getting any points at all.
Let me have a look. You may have to wait a moment.
It's going to be a while. I reckon it's going to be. Yeah, it's certainly going to be a while as Latifi goes in for his pit stop.
I've just noticed in his last 2 races he finished 13th.
Oh, really?
15th in Imola, 15th in Bahrain. Yeah, he's actually not. Actually, I didn't know he's not scored any points yet. So this would be his first. 14th in his last ever race for Ferrari last year in Abu Dhabi.
Wow.
Sakia, he finished. That's if it loads. Nope, still loading. 12th. Bahrain, he finished 13th. Turkey finished 3rd, so he got a podium then. So it wasn't that long ago, but it feels longer, doesn't it, Dom?
It does. Ricciardo's just have it on the back of Raikkonen now. And, we could potentially see the first overtake of the race because he's right on the back of him. It's just going to... You'd think it would probably have to be in the tunnel, maybe, or on the pit straight, but there aren't too many other places where you can overtake here.
Get in touch, folks, on our live chat page. Will Verstappen win the Monaco Grand Prix? Can Carlos Sainz stop him? He's 3.5 seconds behind the Dutchman at the moment.
Yeah, last lap Ricciardo was 3.5 seconds faster than Raikkonen, so he's really on the back of him now. No, but it's too far off to have an overtake in the tunnel. It's so hard. The walls are so tight, and you can never get up to 2 huge speeds. It's just so tricky to ever get even mildly close to have a chance of overtaking.
47 laps gone, and there was a pit stop. I just missed which car it was. It was only a quick camera focus. And Verstappen having to overlap one of the cars that's at the back of the grid. But at least for Mazepin and Mick Schumacher, they've gone up 2 places, even though they're still last.
That was Russell, I think, who just went in for his...
Oh, okay. That was his first,
stop.
I think.
I think that was his first. It looked like Williams anyway. It was blue. So I'm assuming it was Williams. Oh no, Alpine are blue as well, aren't they? So that could have been Alonso.
Nigel's got back in touch and says, Sebastian, it's Tim. You have to let Lance through. Brilliant. Lance Stroll is 3 places behind Vettel in 8th. Vettel 5th. Perez still with the fastest lap in 4th.
What do you think about Alonso coming back this season? Do you think
I think it might have been the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, as many F1 fans were, I was very excited that it wasn't to be the end yet. of Alonso in F1. But I just feel like I agree with Martin Brundle now, which is what he said when the announcement was made last year. And Martin Brundle said, why couldn't they have given it to someone, young, new? Let's give an opportunity to someone else and enjoy the experience. And I agree with him because, the car's not been great, but Ocon's made it look better. And we're used to saying that Alonso is good at making cars faster than it should be, but he can't even beat his teammate. Would that be because he's been out of F1 for 2-3 seasons? Maybe. But I don't know. I do think maybe they made the wrong choice. But it's nice to see at least him doing one more season. Will he do any more after this one? We'll have to see how he... Because I've already been reading rumours that Alonso's already been falling out with his teammates, as in like his engineers and all that. And he's known for that back at McLaren at least. So and Ferrari. Okay. So he's known for burning bridges.
He can rub people up the wrong way.
He can.
It does. Don't you think it has the hint of Schumacher going back to Mercedes about him? Don't you think? Like when Michael Schumacher went back to Mercedes in 2010, I think it was, and he'd been out for something like 5 years or something crazy.
It does feel
that.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, it just has the same thing about. It's almost like, what's the word I'm trying to think? Not nostalgia. Obviously, there is a nostalgia element to it, but like that whole thing of like, oh, look at me. I'm almost 40 and I can still do it in a Formula One car. Like,
and then Kimi Raikkonen's like, hold my beer.
yeah. It's almost like, just let somebody else have a go. You've had your chance. You're not gonna do anything great. You're not gonna get a podium. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna challenge for the title. So what are you just coming back just for your own?
Yeah, I mean. It was like last year when he did Indy 500 again with the Arrows McLaren team, and he was nowhere near the front. I don't think the team were expecting anything anyway, but it was more just the end of the contract of him trying to win, the Triple Crown, which is Indy 500, Monaco, and the Mons 24, which he's done 2 of them, but he hasn't won the Indy 500. And it just felt like then it's like, I'm not saying he couldn't race, but it just felt like, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the best we've seen of Alonso. And I hope I'm wrong, but so far this season, it's not looking good in his first 5 races.
And I don't necessarily blame him for coming back, especially because, you hear about sports stars, not just in Formula One, but in football, in cricket, in everything, that where they retire and, you hear about sports stars going through huge, like, depression and stuff after they retire. Because that sport is all they've ever known. So if somebody offers you the chance to go back to that thing that you missed so huge, then obviously you're going to take it. So I don't blame him. But I agree that maybe Alpine should have thought, rather than just giving it to somebody who's probably only going to do 1, maximum 2 seasons and get us a few points, why not try out somebody who's brand new who could potentially be the next superstar? Like, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. I do feel like sometimes with names like Alonso and Raikkonen, they're like mercenaries. They're well known. You pay a big fee for them, but hopefully they'll get the job done. Sadly, it's not been the case with Alonso so far. Again, though, it's a new team. New name. It's still Renault, but they've renamed it Alpine.
Why have they renamed? I'm assuming it is purely because of sponsorship. I'm assuming.
I actually have no idea. I think Renault just decided to call their racing teams Alpine. I'm not really sure.
Fair enough. I've just seen actually that Ocon, I think, is still yet to make his pit stop, and Giovinazzi has now been gaining time on him in the Alfa Romeo, and he's now within a second of him, so he can use the DRS now in the different DRS spots. So we could. Oh, is this the first overtake of the race coming up?
You gotta be kidding me.
Maybe not.
Not a blue flag.
Yeah, no, not quite. But but Giovinazzi's putting in a very good shift here for Alfa Romeo. They just put up the graphic as well about Ocon compared to Alonso, and Ocon is certainly outperforming him and getting the most out of of that car, whereas Alonso does seem to be struggling. But I think you're right. It's probably just a case of the fact, well, when you go out of the sport for 2 years or whatever it's been, then of course you're going to struggle to get back into it.
We got CRNK Ovic asking us, do you guys think that Vettel is going to finish on the podium? No, I don't. I think it's just one of those races where 5th is most likely his place to be.
Yeah, the likelihood is no, but especially the fact he's now 12 seconds off Perez in 4th. But if somebody has an accident or somebody has to a pit again, which
you
is
never know.
Perfectly likely, you never know. So it's just a case of Vettel just has to keep on doing his race. He has to keep on, just doing what he's doing, not make any mistakes, and maybe an opportunity could come up. You never know. That's also embarrassing that Ricciardo was just shown a blue flag.
Oh, really? Oh,
Norris
my.
Go through.
Oh, dear. But it just shows how short the circuit is, though, I guess.
Yeah.
You do get a lot of that. But, I mean, they've got the cameras on Carlos Sainz at the moment. He's gone 0.1 seconds slower to Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen's last lap was 1:14.9. So nowhere near the fastest lap times we're seeing from Verstappen, but it's enough to control the race at the moment. This would be his first Ferrari podium for Carlos Sainz.
Yeah. First podium for Ferrari this year, which would be fantastic. And yeah, I like Sainz. I think he's performed well at these different teams. Obviously, he was shunted out of Renault, and then he was given another opportunity at McLaren, and he did well. And he's gotten a few podiums. He's gotten a few points here and there. He was pretty much neck and neck with Norris, I think, last year. And
they were good. They were good together, weren't they?
Yeah,
the banter was brilliant.
There. And I think he's a good driver. I like him. I'm glad that he's been given this chance at a big team. And so I'm hoping. I mean, I don't think it's going to be today because I don't think Verstappen's going to let it slip. But I hope at some point this year he has a chance to win a race.
They've just showed a slow-mo replay, pretty much where Leclerc crashed yesterday, of Gasly, his tyre just hitting the barrier, just skimming it. But it's so nerve-wracking because all it takes is a little mistake and you're out of a race.
Little touch, yeah. Especially the fact that his front wing was about a centimetre away from it. And yeah, if it a centimetre further to the right, and that would have been splattered everywhere. So
Gasly lives on. Lives on for another lap at least. 54 gone out of the 78. Tsunoda's behind Alonso at the moment, and Tsunoda's catching up on him. He's proven to be faster than him in Sector 1 and Sector 2. So imagine that, if Tsunoda can somehow get past Alonso, which will be a big challenge against a guy who has won on this circuit, and also to overtake him on a tight circuit.
And I don't think he's necessarily got any points this season either, so he'll be wanting to get a few for AlphaTauri and really sort of stake his claim in the team. Be huge as well, because at the moment Giovinazzi is 10th. That point for Alfa Romeo will be huge as well.
So, I mean, imagine that as well, Sainz and Norris on the podium together.
Yeah, it would be amazing. I think, am I right in saying that Ocon is still yet to pit?
I think, yeah, because he's still 9th. Yeah. But Stroll pitted, because Stroll hadn't pitted either. Unless he has now. There's no...
Oh.
Let me check. We've got the leaderboard in front of us.
Yeah, they do.
Stroll... Ocon has.
Oh, they have.
Stroll
okay.
hasn't. Stroll and Tsunoda
Stroll
are the only two that haven't pitted.
Well, the fact that Stroll hasn't pitted is still 8th. I mean, we're 55 laps into the race. You'd think his tyres are going to be dropping off at some point. That's huge.
I mean, I can't remember, but I wonder if someone must have done, like, finishing a race without a pit stop, but it's probably been low position, not race winner or anything. Do let us know if you do know that, folks, on the live chat page.
That's a good fact. That's a good quiz question.
That is, isn't it? It is. Good pub quiz there for you whenever they do come back open.
Question of sport.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that Matt Dawson put up a picture on Twitter the other day of they recorded
No, the
their
last
last ever
one.
episode of,
Oh, it's such a shame. I don't know who's doing it now though, because
no, I
they
don't think they've
announced it.
announced it.
I
Oh,
think we
have they?
talked. I think they haven't announced it, but I remember when they announced it last year that they were going to end the contracts for Sue Barker, Phil Tufnell, and Matt Dawson, which such a shame. Such a shame because I loved it still.
Yeah,
it's
me
not
too.
it's not the most mainstream show ever. It used to be, but it's still a big favorite. But they are doing a tour later this year. They're going around the UK, aren't they?
Do you know, I've got the link up on my phone, and I was like, right, I'm going to buy the tickets today.
And you haven't yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't bought them yet. But yeah, because they're doing 2 shows in London. And I'm like, well, I've got to get at least a ticket. Surely I could get tickets.
There were some sold out shows, but I don't know if that included London.
I think they added a couple more.
Yeah, because it was that popular.
Because they've added matinees now, so it's not just evenings. They're doing like afternoon shows as well.
Oh, really?
So like, even if I could get an afternoon show, take half a day off work,
take off a day.
No, it'll probably be weekend, won't it? But yeah, no, I really want to go see that. But yeah, it's such a shame because those 3 have been. I mean, Sue Barker's been doing it for what? It's got to be like 30 years now, or something like that.
Ever since we've been watching it, pretty much.
Yeah, and Matt Dawson as well has been doing it since 2004. And those 3 have got such a great chemistry. They go so well off each other. I think they've just started a podcast, actually, the 3 of them.
They have, yeah, which I haven't listened to yet. I don't know. I'd imagine the theme is sport, but what angle, I guess.
Yeah, I've downloaded a couple of episodes, so I'm
okay.
At work this week, I think I'll have a listen to it. But yeah, I'm really, really gutted that they're leaving, and I can understand how you want to change things around and add in new faces and so on, and make it a bit fresher. But I'm still gutted. I'm gutted, and I'm almost 100% certain that whoever they get in to replace them, no matter how good they are, they may be great,
not
but
replace
they won't
them. Yeah,
be as good.
As good. Well, maybe we can get them on here. Maybe a live watch along of a question of sport without them in it and get them on with
Yeah, love that. Well, they're not going to be busy.
Let's wait until after Wimbledon. That's Sue Barker's highlight of the year, Wimbledon. Let her do a present. It's like if they let go of Sue Barker of tennis one day, it's like, no. That's like letting go of Gary Lineker of Match of the Day. You just can't replace these people. Yeah.
Because Tuffers still does the cricket, doesn't he, on BBC?
Oh, how good is he on that? 5 Live.
He's great.
He's brilliant. Oh.
Does Matt Dawson still do the rugby on BBC?
He does, yeah. 5 Live or 6 Nations. He's their main man for that. Actually, do join us later on in the summer, folks, because I'm sure Dom will join us for our live cricket watch-alongs.
Yeah.
T20 in the 100, so bring it on.
And then at the end of the year, it's the Ashes.
It is at Christmas, in Australia, 8th of December, which they announced this week. So look forward to that.
But
probably get thrashed because we normally do.
Well, in Australia.
I was gutted when the T20 World Cup didn't happen last year because it was in 2020. I was like, no, the one opportunity.
2020.
Yeah,
would have been perfect.
It's not the same. It's such a shame. Back with the race, though. Sorry about that. We love to talk about the sport. That's just me and Dom. That's why the channel is called Let's Talk Sport. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and give this stream a like. We always appreciate your following, folks. And if you're wondering, we're doing another watch-along later at 7:30 tonight for the final day of the PGA Championship Golf. Can Phil Mickelson win another PGA Championship? He's got Brooks Koepka behind him, so he's got to be careful in today's golf. So do join us for that. 59 laps gone here, so reaching to the last 20 laps now. Perez is proving to be a bit faster on Norris, but of course, again, will there be a window of opportunity for him to overtake here? He's not that far behind. He's probably, I think he's 2 seconds behind Norris.
Again, the closest pair at the moment is Giovinazzi on Ocon. He's only 8 tenths behind him. And again proving how difficult it is to overtake here. But I think he's got a really good chance to be making a move. And the engineers have come out, so Stroll is finally pitting from 8th.
Oh, he's nailed it.
Yeah, that was very quick. 2.2 seconds again. That's quality. So where's he going to come out? Because Ocon's over 20 seconds behind. So he could stay in 8th, which would be huge actually for him.
That'd be a great weekend for Aston Martin, because finally they would have had 2 drivers get points this season, which will really help them in their Constructors' Championship.
And he's managed to come out. I think he's managed to come out in front of both of them. I can't see. I think he has. Yeah. Ocon's 4 seconds behind. Yes, he has. So he stays 8th. That's a fantastic result.
Still fastest lap to Perez at the moment.
Yeah, valuable point in the championship. So that I can imagine if Hamilton stays 7th, the last sort of 2 or 3 laps, he will be going absolutely full pelt.
Yeah.
Try and get that fastest lap point.
We've got Michael Schumacher. Yep, a YouTube account called Michael Schumacher. If it is you, Michael Schumacher, hello, thanks for joining us. Legend of the sport.
Get well soon.
Get well soon. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know what's going on with him. We don't hear anything about Schumacher. So hopefully he is well. He says, Michael Schumacher is F1 GOAT. Peace. Yeah, he probably is. But a bit biased when it's coming from Michael Schumacher.
Yeah.
Joe Mitchell, he's got a warning for you, Dom. He says his name is not Giovinazzi. His name is Italian Jesus. So you got to remember that.
Fair enough. I stand corrected.
Or in the words of Homer Simpson, Jeebus.
Yeah.
If we want to go down that route. But yeah, still currently Verstappen first, Sainz second, Norris third. That's your podium places at the moment. Perez 4th, Vettel 5th, Gasly 6th. Hamilton 7th, so he's pretty much where he started at the beginning of the race. Stroll 8th, Ocon 9th, and Giovinazzi 10th. That's your top 10. And then the 2 drivers that are out are Charles Leclerc. He didn't even start the race because of what seemed to be a damaged gearbox from yesterday. And Bottas out because of a terrible, terrible pit, which we still don't know what happened there. We'll probably learn more after the race. But yes, Valtteri Bottas missing out on getting a podium while his teammate Hamilton wouldn't have been getting a podium. So that was a big, big opportunity wasted again. But if anyone's wondering if it's Bottas' fault, it can't be, because it was a pit problem with his pit crew. So he won't take any responsibility there.
Oh, Giovinazzi's right on the back of Ocon here. He's only 3/10 down and going into the pit straight. He's right on the back of him. So he's got a really good chance, if he can get into the slipstream, of going round him. Oh, no, he's still going to be too far away, isn't he?
I've just seen,
I feel like this has been a consistent trend in this race.
You just want to be the challenger, and then it's like, no, not on this track.
Perez is getting time on Norris, though.
He is.
The last 3 laps, he's gained half a second each lap.
But you just worry, don't you, for both cars, that it could end badly. You know, you could have both cars go out the race instead of someone overtaking.
Who was it? Wasn't there a big accident a few years ago on the big hairpin, where somebody tried to go around on the inside and took both cars out?
Which was like playing the video game.
Yeah.
Because it's literally, you do that, you make sure you do hit the other cars, because how can you avoid it? You just hit them and then turn it. But I remember I used to do it, because I'd start in 5th or 10th or whatever, and I'd end up causing traffic, and then there's a car in front of me stuck, and I'm like, well, that's me out of the race.
Yeah.
At least I tried.
Have you got the most recent F1 game?
No, I don't think I have. Have you?
No, I haven't. I found, and maybe this is me being the poor gamer that I am, but I found that the better the game got and the further on that they got, the harder they got.
Oh, really?
And the last one that I played, I was like, I can barely do this. This is so hard.
What was your last copy?
Oh, it was quite a while back. I think it was 14.
Oh, right, yeah.
So yeah,
See,
quite a while back.
I never owned 14 because that was the last one on the 360 and the
Yeah,
PS3.
yeah.
And
I
then,
only had the ones on the 360.
yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I like the game still, but I just never have. I think maybe we're just getting older. I just don't have the time to do the championships or anything. I don't know.
It's such a big because if you want to do a race, you've got to do the practice and then you've got to do the qualifying and the race. And
yeah.
you look at the time and you think, God, it's taken me like an hour and a half to do just one race, and like, got no time.
Yeah, it's all right when you're a teenager, but not when not when you're looking at mortgages.
when you're 20-somethings like us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stroll is under investigation from the stewards. I do not know why. But...
Joe Mitchell says again, Italian Jesus, Jamie, you know, and told you, Dom, already. Bonson 2209 says, Carlos and Lando on podium is a dream come true. It certainly is for the fans. But I'm hoping Perez can overtake Norris as a Perez fan. But yeah. I should have worn my Mexican shirt today for good luck, but I missed out on that. Lance Stroll under investigation. Left. Yeah, they'll come thick and fast, those laps. So it's now or never for anyone if they've got any chance of overtaking.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done it again. Joe Mitchell says, stop saying Giovinazzi. Italian Jesus, that's what I meant.
Yeah. It doesn't look like anybody's going to be making any moves anytime soon. No. And everybody's driving very smoothly as well. There's been no, even though we've had quite a few incidents in practice and qualifying, there's been no sort of close cut sort of things during the race, has there?
No, there hasn't.
Oh, this is what Stroll's under investigation for. Did he go...
He went a bit off the pit lane limit, didn't he, when he was coming out? The yellow line, I think. But it just seemed a bit harsh. It's not like, what's he gaining from with that?
No. And he's still, he's 16 seconds ahead of Ocon, so even if he gets like a 5-second penalty or whatever, it's not going to make any difference.
No, exactly. 13 laps to go.
Perez just a second off Norris now. So this is his moment.
He's gonna give it. He must surely give it a go. But where do you do it? Surely the turn one is maybe your best option.
Yeah, or coming out of the tunnel. I think at the chicane. I think that's pretty much it. Other than that, there's not really many other spots.
Connor Porter says, of course, as we enter the last 10 laps, it would be Lando versus Perez, Connor versus Jamie, because Connor's favourite driver is Lando, mine's Perez.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's got a McLaren cap as well, which I think he bought ahead of the new season, which he never wears on the watch-alongs. But again, I haven't bought a Perez Red Bull cap yet. I haven't found one yet. I was 0.7 of a second.
I was tempted to buy a Ricardo hat at one point last year.
Oh, really?
And then I was very, very pleased I didn't, because obviously then
he moved.
It was a Renault hat, and he was leaving Renault, so I'm very glad I didn't.
That relationship worked, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which at the time was a big shock, wasn't it, when he left Red Bull for Renault?
What a waste of time that was.
Yeah.
2 years completely wasted.
Which in F1 is a long time.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's 2 years in your F1 career is is a chunk in my eyes.
Oh, Tsunoda is finally pitting from 14th.
I wanted him to. I wished he'd finished with just no pits, just to prove something, even though he would have been out of it.
Down in 16th now. He's going to finish behind the Williams cars. That's a bit. That's not the best.
Oh, Perez is pretty much right behind Lando Norris now. Norris will be looking over his mirrors. And there are cars in front, though, that they have to overtake with the blue flag, which is a Haas on the straight. Perez, could he do it in the next lap on that turn one? That is the only opportunity I think he's got. If there is to be an overtake. And there's 11 laps to go. He's getting faster. The seconds are telling you 0.2 tenths of a second faster than Norris on the last lap. Another Williams car they have to get out of the way. Or was that an Alpine? No, it's an Alpine they've had to let overlap.
We've only... I know there's 10 laps still to go, but they've already got their thing up for voting for your driver of the day, and the vote closes at the end of the race. I'm
wondering if
vote now.
I think if Norris gets the podium, I think he should get it.
I'm gonna vote for Sebastian Vettel.
Oh really?
I think the fact that he's gonna potentially finish in the top 5 in an Aston Martin car which has performed terribly this whole season, I think I think that's going to be really, really impressive actually for him. Oh, there's no further action happening on.
Thank goodness.
Stroll.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't, because that would have been. I think that would have been harsh. It would have been for no benefit.
Very harsh. Yeah, and exactly, it's not going to be. Yeah, it's not really going to affect anything. So, yeah, there would have been really sort of. Yeah.
Perez has gone a bit off now. He's now 1.1 second behind Norris in the battle for third. Maybe Norris has clearly woken up a little bit and realised just to get a bit more speed on.
How do you vote for your driver of the day, actually?
I've never actually done it. I'd imagine it's on the F1 website. Hamilton's
not on the.
Hamilton's pitted. He's going to go for fastest lap. He's going to go for fastest lap, isn't he? Tsunoda with his fresh tyres has gone and got fastest lap.
Whoa!
Well, we haven't had it in a while, have we? Fastest lap, so it makes sense.
That's big. So he's risking losing points to Stroll just to get the fastest lap point. That's a bit risky, isn't it?
Well, he must have been quite far ahead of Lance Stroll, because let's not forget Lance Stroll's been 8th for pretty much a majority of the race, at least. And Stroll had to pit at one point, so that would have made
that pit stop could have gone badly though.
I know, yeah. Imagine if it was the same as Bottas's issue.
Yeah,
funny how Hamilton had no issues.
Yeah.
But no, deep down Mercedes will be gutted, because they would have at least liked one of their drivers on the podium.
The West Ham team has come out.
Oh. That kicks
Apologies,
off in half
Formula
an hour.
One fans, I'm just gonna. I just have to look at what our team is. Oh, fair.
Johan Rinnes is asking, guys, Max lapping Lewis. Oh, that would be a bit of a stinker.
Well, he's not far off. Yeah.
You wouldn't say you do that every day.
No.
So can Norris hold on here? He's got 9 laps to go.
It's close, but you'd think that if he just keeps this cool, it will all be fine. Yeah, I think Perez has slightly dropped off, so it's slightly more than a second off now.
If you haven't yet, folks, be sure to click that subscribe button to Let's Talk Sport. We'll be covering the next weekend's MotoGP race, so do join us for that. The Mugello, the Italian Grand Prix, one of the famous circuits on the MotoGP calendar. If there was fans this year, there's normally a stand dedicated to just Valentino Rossi fans.
Really?
With the flags. It's absolutely incredible.
Wow.
Sadly, I don't think there is going to be any fans for the race next weekend. But do join us for that.
I've never watched a MotoGP race.
Very exciting.
Never.
Always close. And you do see a lot of riders come off and still get back on.
I mean, that I can't watch that. It's worse than a Formula One car crash.
Oh yeah,
when they come off and they slide on the ground. I'm like, oh,
it's the fact that Marc Marquez, who's won multiple world championships in the last few years, he's had seasons where he's missed 2 or 3 races because of an injury, but he still comes back in time to get the points and win the championships.
That's
so
crazy.
it just shows how brutal MotoGP is. But yeah, do join us for that, folks. Back here, though, we got 7 laps to go.
Hamilton's just had a fastest lap. Oh, that was a whole second faster than the previous fastest lap. So, pretty mean business, I think.
It seems a bit weird to compare a Mercedes to an AlphaTauri, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Perez 1.2 seconds behind Norris. I can't see him doing it. I think if he had maintained being under a second quicker, then it would have been... Ooh, interesting. So, if the Drivers' Championship stays like this, Verstappen will be leading by 4 points. 105 points, while Hamilton on 101. So
interesting.
That's interesting. Very interesting. But this is when the fastest lap point really does help. So
And then
Verstappen
Norris is
back in
third.
the championship. Norris third, yeah.
Third in the championship, and he's already got half the points that the other two have. That shows how far and away those two are at the top.
Well, I mean, it's crazy because if Norris gets this podium, that's the second of the season, and he'd have had 2 more podiums than Perez.
Wow.
You know, it just shows that Perez is nearly there in some of these races. He turns up more on a Sunday, but he just keeps missing out.
Yeah.
But again,
and he's proven that he can do it in the part. He's won a race.
Yeah.
You know, he knows. You know, he's proven that he can do it. It's just now that he's in the top car, the fast car. It's can he do it when it really matters?
Yeah. He's now he was 0.8 tenths of a second. Now it's 1.1.
It's really, really close now. Norris just has to make sure that he doesn't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
And just brings it home. Only 6 laps left.
God, it's so crazy, like how they drive through that tunnel.
Yeah.
Just even on the games, it's so weird how it can change from light to dark, and then it's like, oh, hey, hello, and then the moment you come out the tunnel, it wakes you up again, doesn't it? It's like, oh, hello, sun.
Yeah.
Good morning, Monaco.
That's what all of them have to do whenever they drive through the tunnel. That's the rule. Otherwise, you get disqualified. You have to say,
Yeah.
"Hello, son. Hello, Monaco."
Hello, Prince. Of course, he'll be there to give out the trophy. Oh no, they don't give out the trophies at the moment, do they?
Oh, don't they?
No, they always COVID. Those stupid rules. Actually, would Perez get driver of the day just because he gained 5 places?
Actually, yeah. Looking at that, he's had he did because he passed that group of Vettel, Gasly, and Hamilton, didn't he?
I think if he gets podium, definitely. In my eyes.
Yeah,
but Norris
you're probably right.
Norris getting it as well would be well deserved. 5 laps to go. Verstappen, I think, is pretty much cemented. As long as he doesn't balls it up 8.5 seconds ahead of Carlos Sainz.
Just seeing a replay there of Tsunoda locking up and almost putting the AlphaTauri into the barriers, but just managed to keep it there. But he's going very fast because he was only like half a second off Latifi, just ahead of him. And I think he was looking to go for the overtake, but almost lost it, but managed to keep it together. And I bet he's down in 16th, so who cares?
Millen B has just put Mick must be a disappointment to Michael because he's behind Mazepin.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that.
Oh, just saw Serena Williams walking down the pit.
Yeah.
The pit wall. Is she going to wave the checkered flag? Do you think?
Good point. Maybe.
Yeah.
4 laps to go. She's clearly a guest with Aston Martin this weekend because every time we've seen her, she's been guided
with that
around.
Guy, haven't he? Yeah. Who looks like Boris Becker, but.
Well, Boris Becker has been bankrupt. Maybe he needs any gig going right now.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know how he is financially, but he was bankrupt officially a few years back. He had to even sell some of his old gear just to get money back, which must have been... I mean, they're only just pieces, but they're still memorabilia.
Oh, they are driver of the day. Perez and Vettel are first and second, both on 18%.
Oh, are they? Oh.
So, yeah. I think
you did
right.
say Vettel, didn't you, Dom?
I think it's between those two. Yeah.
1.4 seconds behind Norris. Perez now up to 1.6. Yeah, I can't see it. I just can't see it. 3 laps to go.
Unless Norris locks up somewhere or goes wide, I can't see him losing it from here.
It'd be interesting, like, hearing what Horner would say to Perez after this race, to say, race day, great. Qualifying needs to improve. And then he's there, I think.
Yeah. I think Verstappen as well, you've got to give him credit the fact that he's led every single lap. And obviously, you
Yeah.
can say, well, that's easy to do at Monaco, but he's been well out and ahead of everybody else, and he's never looked like losing it. He's been really impressive. Sainz, actually, in second, has been really impressive as well.
He has. He has.
I think, but Bottas will be kicking himself.
He's the one who's missed out the most.
Well, he's not going to be kicking himself. He's going to be kicking his teammates for messing up his pit stop. But
yeah, is that you can get away with murder if it's their fault?
that's the rule.
Yeah, that's the rules in F1. Surely, we haven't seen Martin Whitmarsh anymore.
No.
Even though I did see him once get involved with the Ben Ainsley racing team in America's Cup. Yeah.
In the sailing?
Yeah, even Adrian Newey's been involved in that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Engineers, aren't they?
Fair enough.
Maybe they just put an engine in the boat.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Now we're
That's
faster.
cheating.
Yeah, that's a motorboat now, fellas.
Oh, here we are. F1.com/vote. I'm going to vote.
Oh, Vettel's leading now. 21% of Perez in driver of the day. So yeah, I think Vettel's probably going to get it. 2 laps to go.
Yeah,
Johan Rinnes has confirmed with us that Serena Williams will wave the flag.
There you go.
Hey, up, Charles Leclerc's just been seen running back into the Ferrari garage. It's too late, Charles. The race is nearly done. The car's just been fixed, Charles. Do you want to race? 1 lap to go.
Yeah, I voted.
He's voted.
My driver of the day. I went for Vettel in the end, but I think Perez would be a close second.
If he got podium, I would have said Perez.
Yeah.
But to be honest, for me, I'd say Norris just because it's a podium for him. But Bab Luigi says Checo has to pit for fastest lap.
Well,
I think it's too late now.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. It is a risk, Dom. You're right. I don't know. But this is F1, I guess. These people are used to risks. But for me and you, I'd be like, no, I'm happy where I am.
Just the fact, especially with what happened with Bottas earlier. You know, it's just that it's a very, sort of tight, line to tread.
Yeah.
Especially because it's only 1 point. And the risk of, he was potentially, 7th, and that's 6 points, I think, is it? So,
yeah.
To gain 1 extra point, you're risking losing 6. That's a big gamble.
We're on to the final lap then, 78 out of 78. Verstappen on his way to his first ever win in Monte Carlo.
And he hasn't looked like losing it at any point, really, has he?
No, this will do him the world of good. Because if he does win this, well, he should do anyway. He'll be back to 3-2, so he's got an equaliser.
I don't think Perez is 2 seconds off now, and I think his opportunity to get on the podium, I think, is pretty much gone.
Yeah, the camera's mainly just on Verstappen at the moment.
I think Italian Jesus will be disappointed that he wasn't able to make the move on Ocon and get 9th, because he's been within a second of him for what feels like the last 20 laps. But he just hasn't been able to make the move.
Well, here we go then. He's about to go on to the last corner then. Oh, he nearly lost it.
Did he?
No, he was spinning a little bit. But there we go then. Verstappen wins the Monaco Grand Prix. His first ever win in Monte Carlo. He wins the famous race, and what a win that'll be for him. Carlos Sainz comes in at second, and Lando Norris should come down for 3rd place. What a podium that'll be for both Sainz and Lando Norris. It'll be Sainz' first podium in a Ferrari, and Perez will take 4th. He couldn't get to Lando Norris at the end. Norris did the job, and Serena Williams, she's waved the flag, but she's now been told you've got to wave a bit longer. You can't stop there.
Yeah.
You'd think with her arms, with her playing tennis, you'd think she'd be not aching at all waving that flag. And there's a few Dutch fans on the boats wearing the orange suit. So there's a lot of Dutch fans that have been able to get over into Monte Carlo to watch Verstappen win his first ever Monte Carlo race. And Serena Williams continues to wave the flag. It's got names on that checkered flag. I'm not sure who. She's not very good at waving the flag. Come on, Serena, you can do better than that. You're good at waving your racket around. Do it with a flag. There you go. That looks better. And she waves the flag to Lewis Hamilton, who finishes in 7th place. At least he finished the race compared to his teammate Valtteri Bottas. Well, the winning time was 1 hour, 38 minutes and 56 seconds for Max Verstappen. There's a lot of... The Orange Army are definitely out in force today in Monaco. I mean, they do bring great fans to some of these races when we had fans in F1 before COVID struck. But this is a great moment for Max Verstappen. Joe, I mean, Dom, what do you think then? It was a top pro job, wasn't it, from Max Verstappen?
Yes, it was, David. Yeah, it was...
David?
No, I'm joking.
Where's David come from?
Because you got my name wrong, but anyway.
I thought I got away with it.
No, a huge win, but especially the fact that this win now takes him to the top of the leaderboard in the championship. I think he's really showing that he's going to be a contender this year. And this is a big statement, I think, to Hamilton to say, no, you've not got it in the bag. You're not going to have it easy. I'm going to be pushing you every single way to the end. But we're just showing Christian Horner as well. He's going to be very happy. I mean, Max has been his main man for the past few years. And I reckon Horner's probably thinking as well, we've got a really good chance of winning the Constructors' Championship here as well, especially the fact that Perez has had, okay, he's not got on the podium, but he's had a couple of good results. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a really tight championship this year. But, yeah, fantastic race by Verstappen. And fantastic race by Carlos Sainz as well, who we just seen pulling up in second. First podium for Ferrari. I'm sure there's going to be many more to come for him.
Well, there he is. He's celebrating with the team. Red Bull will be having a bit of a party, I think, because there's no race next weekend. So they can enjoy this one. I'm sure. We've just got the Drivers' Championship up on our screen, folks. We'll go through it in just a moment. Let's enjoy the moment for Max Verstappen. So just reiterate. So Max Verstappen first, Hamilton second. Sorry, not Hamilton second. That's the Drivers' Championship I'm reading there. Carlos Sainz second, Lando Norris third, and even Helmut Marko has come over to congratulate the Dutchman. And all smiles round at Red Bull. But you're absolutely right, Dom. It's that statement, the fact that Verstappen's actually leading the championship, which if Red Bull were told that at the start of the week, they would probably take your hand off.
Oh, definitely. His first win at Monaco as well, which is obviously always a big thing for any racing driver. And we forget as well, because he's been up and near the top for the last few years, we forget that he's still really young. Like he's... I think 22, 23, something like that.
And he's been in F1 for 6 years now.
Well, I mean, he could be in it for another 10. He's a really, really impressive young man. Oh, he's having a hug with, I'm assuming that's his girlfriend.
Yeah, I didn't know he had one.
No, I mean,
it must be, maybe it's the first time we've seen her. But that's nice to see. Charles Leclerc's gone over to see Carlos Sainz and congratulate him, which,
very good.
That's very good teamwork there, because he would have taken that really hard, Dom, knowing that he could have started on pole, but sadly the crash haunted him yesterday with his gearbox.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the first podium for Ferrari this year, which is huge for them, because they are really showing now as well this weekend that they have the potential to, potentially win races this year. And you'd think, okay, might not be up there with the Red Bull and the Mercedes, but they've got a good chance of coming third in the constructors. Sorry. So, yeah, good result for them. But a massive result for McLaren as well, coming third. Just a shame that Ricciardo couldn't back it up as well with some points for him. Gutted that he's had a disappointing weekend. But driver of the day vote came in on Sky Sports, and it was Vettel that got it. Fifth for Aston Martin, his first points for them. I mean, that is fantastic. Really great result, especially the fact that Racing Points last year, were a really awesome team, and obviously Perez won a race with them, and they were looking like really that they would potentially push on, and they haven't done that at the beginning of this year. So Vettel coming fifth is a big result for them.
The McLaren retro car worked. I mean, I'm loving the suit as well, and the cap he's wearing. That's a special edition. David Coulthard's interviewing Lando Norris as we speak, and Zach Brown's just gone over to interrupt the interview and just give him a bit of a punch to the stomach, or a bit of a little fun with him there. But I mean, again, Dom, Zach Brown, what a leadership he's bringing to McLaren.
Well, yeah, because when he first came in, obviously that was when McLaren were having a bit of their slump, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But they've managed to turn it around, and especially the last couple of years, they've managed to get in a few podiums, and you think they could now be, challenging for the top of the mid pack, as it is. If Red Bull and Mercedes are at the top, then that middle group of teams like Ferrari, McLaren, that lot, you think they've got a good chance of coming top there. Oh, it's nice to see Norris and Sainz having a laugh with each other, because, like you said, they had a really good sort of relationship, the two of them, last year. So.
And he keeps pushing him away. He's like saying, I think he's saying to Lando, it's my turn now, my turn for the interview.
Yeah.
I finished higher, you didn't. Which is all good banter between the Spaniard and the British driver. I think even Christian Horner's just gone and congratulated Sainz before his interview with DC, because, of course, he was his old boss. But deep down, Sainz is probably thinking, that's what you've missed out on. You missed a piece of me. But I'm still gracious with Leclerc. I think that was really nice of him. He was there to help his teammate out at the end and just say to him, look, well done. I wished I was there instead, but for the team, that's a great result. At least one of them got through.
Yeah, watching this race must have been hard for Leclerc. His home race, qualifies on pole and doesn't even start. It must have been a difficult watch. So yeah, to have the grace to go over to his teammate and give him a hug and say congratulations, it's good sportsmanship. And I like that. I don't like it when teammates hate each other and they've got this rivalry, because it does nothing for the team, and it's it's sometimes not great to watch that the negativity there. So to see really good sort of friendships and relationships between teammates is really great, I think. DC trying to take Carlos Sainz's cap off, which is probably criminal because it will show his hat hair or helmet hair, which doesn't look good. There's a few Ferrari fans, it seems, in the stands who are wearing the colours of the red and the Italian flag, which it's been a good weekend all round for Italy. Winners of Eurovision. Oh yes, of course.
And one of their one of the Ferraris getting podium, so they'll be delighted with that. But there's Max Verstappen now being interviewed, and I mean, what will make this great for Verstappen as well, Dom, is just that confidence for him. Because even when the pressure, let's be honest, even if there wasn't going to be any mistakes today, the pressure was on him to get the car home, because they could not afford to lose this race today if Mercedes were not going to be there on the podiums.
And he has, in the past, there have been a few moments where he has made the odd mistake here and there, and he's, maybe tried to go for an overtake and he's buried it. There's been a few times where he has sort of not managed to get it across the line. So the fact that he has been able to do that today, he's managed to keep it together when it matters, led the whole race. Yeah, really impressive. And he's got to be a world champion in the making. I just can't imagine in 10 years' time we'll be looking at Verstappen and he hasn't won a world championship. Surely he's got to win one at some point.
Yeah, it's been built for the last few years. They've got Serena Williams on now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's probably saying, yeah, this has been a great MotoGP race. I've watched it ever since I was a kid.
That was an awkward introduction by Coulthard.
What did he say?
Oh, I don't know if you've met Max before, and they kind of just sort of looked at each other.
Well, yeah, it's like we can't handshake because of COVID. You fool.
Well done, DC. Are they not doing a big? What's happening? Why aren't they?
Well, they normally do the podium straight after the interview, so I think that's coming up because you can see there's the top step of the podium's got the people that will present the trophies. So
yeah,
which I'd imagine will be in a minute. Is it Prince Albert? It's Prince Albert, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know what their names are actually. The royalty of Monaco. They're some of the richest people in the world, aren't they? The royalty of Monaco.
I think, yeah. Well, I mean, the whole place is the home of the rich.
Well, yeah. Highest GDP of any country, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's no tax, so if you can afford it there, it's great to live. Gary Barlow will tell you that. Anyway. I like Take That. Just Gary Barlow does my head in. Which is a bit of a rub in the room there for Dom. Anyway, back to the race. Take that.
Very good.
Very good. I'll tell you what, before we wait for the podium then, so we got on our screen the live Formula 1 standings. So this is what it looks like after 5 races and after today's race. So Max Verstappen top. He is 4 points clear of Lewis Hamilton, mainly because of Hamilton finishing so far down for his standard by finishing 7th today, while Verstappen snatches his 2nd win of the season. Lewis Hamilton still with the most race wins of this year with 3. Lando Norris is 3rd in the championship with 56 points. And because of Bottas not finishing the race and not getting any points, he is currently 9 points ahead of Bottas in 4th. So Bottas really, Dom, needs to get points in the next round.
Yeah, I mean, there was the whole talk a couple of weeks ago, wasn't there, about potentially Mercedes replacing Bottas halfway through the season. I don't think they'll do that because I think they've shown good loyalty to him and they've shown loyalty to their drivers in the past. But it's not been a great start for him. It's not looking good for him. And I
2
mean,
DNFs as well for him now.
Yeah, if he was ever going to have had a chance to win the championship, you feel like it's been and gone now.
Yeah,
I think it's. But like I was saying earlier, I've never been confident that he would ever win a championship, and it's. I think that's been proven now.
Absolutely. Of course, we look at the rest, and Sergio Perez, a lot better today than yesterday. Went up 5 places, I think it was today, so he could have nearly got driver of the day, but instead it was Vettel. So Perez in 5th in the standings. He's only 3 points off Bottas. So really, Dom, as they looked at it at the start of the season, I'm sure Red Bull looked at Perez to at least try and challenge Bottas in the standings.
Yeah. And I think as well, the fact that, those 4, okay, well, Norris is in there as well, but those 4 do seem to be pulling away. It does show that Red Bull and Mercedes, I don't think anybody's really going to be able to catch them this season, although Norris is doing his best at the moment. But it really is going to be a 2-horse race. But I think that's going to be great for Red Bull, for the constructors as well. They've got a chance to win it for the first time and break this huge dominance that Mercedes have had over the past, 8 seasons now. So,
yeah. Charles Leclerc 6th after not getting any points. Carlos Sainz 7th with his points on the podium today, which makes the battle interesting for them two to be the best Ferrari driver of the year. Plenty of races to go yet. Prince Albert he's actually being able to give out the trophy, which is a nice moment for the drivers, especially for Verstappen as he lifts the trophy.
He's wearing the plastic gloves.
That's the difference. That's why they forgot to pack them for the last 4 races. That makes sense. Great logistics. Oh, Adrian Newey's up there accepting it as the engineer for the constructors.
Nice.
I haven't seen him in a while. He's put on a bit of weight, I think. I might be wrong, but Adrian Newey's always had a bit of a beer belly. But when you've got all the free hotel accommodation, you've got to make the most out of the bar. Daniel Ricciardo 8th, Gasly 9th, Esteban Ocon 10th. And the rest of the points so far, Sebastian Vettel gets his first points of the season with 10 points there for Aston Martin. He goes ahead of Lance Stroll, Dom, by a point in the standings.
There we go. I mean, to compare Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll,
it doesn't seem right, does it?
It doesn't seem right at all. But I'm glad he got a result because I like Vettel. I think he's good. I think he's still a fantastic driver. And if he was in a better team, I think he'd be right at the top. But yeah, so I'm glad he got a good result today.
And then looking, Fernando Alonso, 5 points. Not a great weekend for him. Yuki Tsunoda with 2 points. And Giovinazzi with 1 point. And, of course, the rest of the field still haven't scored points this season. Kimi Raikkonen, George Russell, Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, and Nikita Mazepin, the Russian driver. Quick look at the constructors. And it's looking very good for Red Bull as well in that, because they are currently top with 104, only by a point of Mercedes. So 149 to 148. That is great to see. Seeing 2 championships neck and neck after the first 5 races. Go on, Dom, you going to say something?
Oh, no, I was just going to say it's tight. And I think it's going to... I can imagine, even if, say, one of the drivers, say it's Verstappen or Hamilton, look like they're going to win the championship with 4 or 5 races to go. I think the constructors could be one that goes right down to the last weekend.
McLaren third, 2 points ahead of Ferrari. So we've got some battles going on there. Aston Martin, they'll be delighted with both of their drivers getting in the top 10. So that keeps them ahead of AlphaTauri by just the 1 point. AlphaTauri on 18, Alpine on 17, and Alfa Romeo, the last team, only got 1 point, but I think that's because the Italian Jesus got on into the top 10. So because of that, they've got a point, while Williams and Haas live for another day to try and fight for points. But I'll be surprised if Haas get any this season. If so, then that would have been because every other car crashed. Yes. That is my bold prediction, and I mean it. I think we're going to wrap it up there, folks, for our live watch-along. Dom, before we wrap up, let's just get your final answer. Your driver of the day.
I mean, it's tight. I mean, it probably should go to Perez because he did make a really good progress in the middle of that race to jump that mini pack and go up a few places. But I'm going to give it to Vettel. I think just the fact that he's had such a rough start to the season, to get into the top 5 today, I think is a really good result for him. And I hope he can push on now and get a few more points and challenge to at least become a respectable place in the drivers' standings this year.
I'm going to go with Lando Norris just for getting another podium and to keep him third for another race in the championship, which I think is a great achievement so far from the young kid. So who knows, can he do it later on? Well, in 2 weeks' time is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix on June 6th. So do join us for that live watch-along for qualifying and the race. So do join us for that. And, of course, thanks to Dominic Ryder. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to doing more. Thank you very much for having me.
He's got a big game now, West Ham. I know he'd be itching to have it on.
West Ham.
He'll be off to watch West Ham. But, of course, folks, before you go, do click that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the watch-along, click the like button. And we'll see you tonight if you're a golf fan, because it is the USPGA Championship at 7:30. I need your company, because it'll be a long stream. So I need your company tonight on the live chat page. So do join me at 7:30, and the watch-along will be available on the channel very soon. Thanks to Dom. Thanks to you lot at home. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you soon.